Schwarzenegger. What is important to restore is also the story of those who participated in the making of the wall. This is Ernestine Jimenez, who was one of the 400 youth that worked on the Great Wall. She's 14 years old in this picture. She's coming from a juvenile detention home. She's pregnant. She's a gang member. Her brother has been killed in interracial warfare between African American and Latino in her neighborhood. She is one of 16 children. She is what we call a throwaway kid. People said, don't take Ernie, she won't benefit. This is Ernie at 16. I'm not apt to follow directions. This is her with her child. This is her at 18. This is her at 44 years old, as she comes to speak about the meaning of the Great Wall. And I think it best to hear it in her own words.
The way I grew up is, you know, you fight through life. You know, I've got 10 brothers and 6 sisters, and I'm the baby. And it was a fight in my house all the time. And that's the way I believed you were supposed to have grown up, to fight through life. Don't like nobody but your own race. And even sometimes don't even like your own race. There was a lot of tension. I think everybody wanted to fight everybody, just the way they looked, or the way they looked at them, or the way they dressed. And after time, you just started getting to know that person as an individual instead of knowing them as you were taught to, you know. And everybody became very good friends. So it took a lot of growing up. I'm not saying that first year did it, because it didn't. It took a lot of growing up. But I made a lot of friends through the 4 years, and every year I understood something else. Every year. I wouldn't have went back to high school because I wouldn't have had a role model to push me to go there. Education was Judy's #1 thing. As long as I stood in school, you can come back and paint the mural. And that's what, even though I got in trouble in school and fought and everything, that was my #1 goal. I wanted to come back. I had to come back. What really kind of freaked me out, though, is when I met the people that, when we painted the mural of the Holocaust, and I met the people that had the tattoos on them, that kind of blew my mind. That made me cry. Because I know there was another world that was harder than mine. And I just really felt for it. This mural opened my eyes so much. Even when I'm down and out, I still walk by here. And I thank God I did accomplish something in life. And it makes me feel good. And I think if it wasn't for this mural, for me to have my name on it and to have accomplished something, I don't know where I'd be.
Today, new students are approaching new segments of the Great Wall. This is a virtual site in which students of my UCLA classes who were born in the 80s are interpreting the 60s. This is put online virtually, and people can respond and actually add their memories of the 60s to create new segments of the Great Wall. Last summer, the Great Wall got a giant bubble bath. Hundreds of us washed the thousands of feet of mural, preparing it for restoration and reattachment of delaminated areas. You see us here doing the cleaning and preparation. We are also working on the interpretive green bridge, which we made in part from refuse collected from the river and is designed as an artist and architecture collaboration by myself and Y Architecture. Viewing stations on the bridge will draw a relationship between the history depicted in the mural and the history of the Los Angeles River. The 90-foot expanse will provide a view down the half-mile mural and also provide vital pedestrian access to both sides of the river, now blocked by the concrete channel. The cementitious materials will tell a story about the environmental history of the river, available through an excavation of the land. The first debris are tin cans and bottles, to the most recent influx of plastic bottles. A canopy provides the viewer respite from the heat of the valley and a view above the entire visual narrative of the mural. The bridge is a continuous ribbon, metaphorically a site of passage and purification over the river. Photovoltaics will light it, and we'll be able to make a relationship between social justice and environmental justice. Most recent advancements have made, in my work and in technology, have made a whole new digital realm possible in the making of public murals. This makes murals possible to be restored by reprinting and not simply by having to spend tons of money to do the restoration as we are doing in the laborious restoration of the Great Wall. But I want to begin here to tell this story, because I'm certain that my notion that the land has memory comes from Francisca, my grandmother, and this is her story. It was the first opportunity in Denver that I had to tell my own family story. In Francisca's world, everything had a place. If something was taken from the land, something had to be returned. She asked plants for permission when she took a cutting to plant them, and in her little coffee cans on the front porch, she could make a dried twig grow. Everything had a purpose in Francisca's world. Even what I thought were weeds growing by the water fountains, she turned into teas and potions that cured our ailments. My grandparents came from Mexico to La Junta, Colorado, during the Mexican Revolution. They followed the course traveled by thousands of other Mexican families from Chihuahua to the United States through the historic northern territories of Mexico. These were Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Arizona, via the Alice Island of the Southwest, El Paso. My mother was born in La Junta, educated in Colorado's segregated school system, raised in segregated housing in the 1920s and 30s. The simple fact that even in death, the bodies of racially different people were required to remain separate was what moved me to create an artwork that would give dignity to the mestizo story and stories of countless others who toiled in the mines, fields, and railroads of Colorado. The last photograph, is a photograph I found in the La Junta Railroad Museum of my grandfather. It was actually the first box I opened, and there he was, sitting, staring out at us. And my research was complete to find him working in the Santa Fe Railroad. The purpose was not only to tell the forgotten stories of the people who, like birds or water, traveled back and forth across the land freely before there was a line that distinguished what side you were from, but to speak to our shared human condition as temporary residents of the earth. It's a story that has been little chronicled, and one for which I was anxious to create a visual record. So my grandfather, with his friend, the choices he had to work in the fields or to the mines or work in the railroad, he became a Gandhi dancer. This is an image, both digital and hand-painted, of the Ludlow mining strike. And this strike lives in the minds of the people from this region. Remember Ludlow is common on t-shirts. The work is a combined first source